Man, you know what I hate, Adam? You know who kind of people I just can't stand?
People whose relationships only last 6 months and 29 days?
I can't stand hipsters, Adam.
Oh, okay.
I can't stand hipsters. I hate them so much.
Damn you hippies.
You know, when I was
dirty
15
hippies.
years old, I tried to kill a hipster.
Ooh. 15. Wait, that was a long time ago. Did they have hipsters back then?
But I didn't take enough pills.
Oh, you're talking about yourself? God, where's my profile pic? It's just like smack it on your forehead.
Gay! Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 0229 of the Skinny with
sure?
Mike. Yes.
Okay.
Sure. With Skinny with Mike and Adam. I'm your co-host, Mike. It's my co-host, Adam.
Hey there.
We are here to give you guys a very special episode because for the past 4 weeks, we've been sharing with you guys our top 100 albums of all time as of 2016. And we are now nearing the end here, and we're going to be talking about our top 20. Not all the way. We're going to be talking about our 20 to 11. But this time, we're going to be talking about each album as we go on.
At a time.
We are at the top 20. We figure that these albums are way too important to just kind of skim over. Oh, yeah, my number 20 is this. My number 20 is... But my number 15...
Exactly.
So these are albums that we hold dear to our hearts.
These are the albums that made us the men that we are.
As of 2016.
Yes. And I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like, yes. Yes, it did. Sometimes the women that we are.
To all of them.
Or
women.
the little gay emo boys that we are.
Oh.
All of the above. Let's just say our entire lives are wrapped up in the next 20 albums.
That's right. So we'll just get straight into the episode right now. Before that, we'll do a little bit of cleanup. Hey, you can go like us on Facebook.com/Skinny with Mike and Adam if you haven't already. While you're there, if you have any thing that you'd like to buy on Amazon, I know my good friend Adam did.
I did.
Not too long ago.
I purchased a purchase.
You did a purchase, but did you use the Amazon affiliate link that is linked at the top of our timeline in our top pinned post?
As you know, I'm not a fan of the show, so
No.
I bypassed that. But no, I'm kidding. I went through the link, and I purchased a lot of money worth of things. That means we're going to get a cool kickback of about $5.
Probably.
That would be nice.
Maybe some of that goes back to Amazon as a fee. I don't know.
Might.
Sure.
But, hey, I opted for standard shipping that came free.
Yeah.
So I didn't pay anything extra.
That means he paid over $40, guys.
I did. And then I had to wait 5 to 8 business days to get my product, which means...
It's still not here.
It's
but
still
we're
not here.
excited for it.
Maybe, hopefully, by next Saturday, because that's the day we were planning to use it.
Yeah. So if you guys have anything that you'd like to buy on Amazon, you can help us out. We'll get a kickback if you go to our Facebook page. On our timeline, we have a top pin post, and it's an Amazon affiliate link. If you click on that, it redirects you to Amazon, and you just do your regular shopping, and that's all you got to do. And that would help out our show. We would most appreciate that. And we'd also most appreciate if you check out our friends, like Shit Rick Says with Rick Wellbanks, and whatever they're going to name themselves in the future. They're probably not going to name anything.
Well, now there's 3 of them.
Now there's 3.
Zubin and Cody and Rick and Norman.
And I'd like to congratulate them on their consistent weekly schedule. Rick, you've been doing a great job.
It's been incredible. And let's see. What was discussed this week? I think more cultural issues.
More cultural issues.
When I listen to him on Monday and then we don't record till the end of the week, then I forget a lot. But
Tumblr.
Reddit. So many problems with Canada.
But, those guys have a great perspective on things. And it's a good listen, and Rick's a funny-ass dude. So, before we start...
there was another episode on our network that came out this week, wasn't there?
Was there?
There was a little bit of Mike and Dave.
Oh. You got me excited. I thought the Dead Bedouins came out today or something.
Nope. Your Uncensored Reality with an hour and 15 minutes of talking. But...
Was it funny?
On this one... Dave discusses sucking his own penis.
He can do that?
He tried, and there's a long discussion about it.
We've all tried that at one point.
But he really tried, and then they discussed it.
Did he break his back?
And then they did meth. What? And then they talked for about...
They did meth on
majority.
the show?
Yes.
What?
And then they talked a lot about people that none of us have ever known, but a lot of inside jokes about how fat someone is.
Oh.
So we don't know who that is.
This sounds like a great episode, Adam.
It was the best episode of Your Uncensored Reality I've ever heard.
According to their description?
It was.
Oh. Well, so you guys don't have to listen to that, it sounds like.
I'm just saying,
but
they
as the
did
show-
meth on the show.
They really did meth on the show?
I'm just saying, meth was done on the show. At least auditorily it was.
Oh, okay.
You know, visually you don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But there was a discussion of doing meth.
That sounds
And then they took a
shady.
break, and then they came back, and they said they were on meth. So, I don't know what...
That sounds shady AF.
I'm going to go with keep doing meth.
Okay. Well, on to the show. We have like a little quick thing of thing. Do you want to talk about this really quick before we get to it?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. We talked about
There
the
used to
Los
be the Los
Angeles.
Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, but now we have the Los Angeles Chargers.
And the Los Oakland Raiders.
Right.
Right?
The Los Oakland Raiders of Los Oakland.
And Los Angeles Chargers
Yeah.
of Anaheim.
But now it's the Las Vegas Raiders. And
But not till 2020.
2020? Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it was like next season.
No. They will be in Oakland this year, coming up, 2017.
Okay.
And they will be in their old shitty stadium for at least one more season. And then they might share the stadium with the 49ers next year, still being the Oakland Raiders
Okay.
in 2018. And then 2019 is anybody's guess. But in 2020, they're going to move to Vegas.
By 2020, the new jersey designs will get here.
Yes.
All right.
Of, you know, I don't know, the Raider with, you know, gold earrings and teeth or,
Now he has a
With
now
a-
he has a gold grill on his teeth.
and a hooker by his side or something. So yeah, we got 3 years to sit around and wait for the Las Vegas Raiders.
When I think Raider fans, I think
Criminals.
debauchery, criminals,
San Bernardino.
classless,
San Bernardino,
San
California.
Bernardino, California. So when I hear the news that they're moving to Las Vegas, okay, that makes sense. That makes
Do
perfect
it.
sense. That's the perfect home for them and their fans.
I would have to agree.
Mm.
And just, you know, they can move on. If Oakland's not going to build them a new stadium, go to a city that will build you a new stadium
San Diego.
in 3 years.
San Diego.
They have an
For the
empty stadium.
Chargers.
They have an empty stadium in San Diego
They
now.
do. That's going to be a mini mall, right?
I have no idea what's going to become of that.
Okay, we were just down in San Diego, me and Erica, like last week, and like her brother
As
said.
was
that-
I.
Yeah. Oh, you were there. That's right.
We were there at the same time.
The same day.
You were at that goddamn museum next to the zoo, and we
And you
were
were
at the zoo next to that goddamn museum. Anyway,
museums.
right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
I had a good time, and apparently Qualcomm Stadium is going to be a mini mall
How are they going to do Warp Tour there every year? Is my question.
next to the Hot Topic, I suppose.
Well, I guess so. But still, San Diego State plays their
Uh-huh.
football games there.
Well-
They have to have moto truck shows there every so often,
Well, now the Raider fans will have something to do.
and they play the Holiday Bowl there for.
Oh, you're talking
for
about San
college.
Diego. I'm sorry.
Qualcomm.
Yeah.
As for the Oakland Coliseum, well, the A's will still play there forever
Mm-hmm.
because they're retarded.
Yeah.
And you go there, and it's like
Are
going.
Raider fans going to go see the Oakland A's?
I'm going to go with no because they're all Dodger fans.
Oh, that's true. Raider fans are Dodger fans.
You have to be, and then you go to San Francisco and you kill Giants fans,
Yeah.
or at
Man-
least brain damage them.
Mandatory. Yeah.
Mandatory killings.
Raider fans are the best. Anyway, that's all kind of news we had this week. No music news. But so let's go ahead and get right into the meat of our episode then.
Other
shall we?
than baseball
Oh.
season starting soon.
Oh, that's right.
But I posted the predictions, and we'll discuss those in October. Anyway,
That's
moving
right.
on.
Bets.
Just saying. We'll say it now. Sports Illustrated said the Indians will lose to the Dodgers
Oh, my.
in the World Series this year.
You mean World Series contenders Indians?
Yes, and that the Dodgers will beat the Cubs in the NLCS to
Oh,
go
my.
to the World Series and then win the World Series.
That's what I said.
But
They weren't going to make
Yahoo has a completely different story. There's like 5 guys on the Yahoo panel.
so much fake news going around, man.
I know, and 3 of them say the Cubs will win the World Series.
Again?
One said the Red Sox will win the World Series over the Giants, and one said the Indians will beat the Cubs.
If the Cubs
in the
win
World
the World Series, I'll eat a Cubs hat.
But why would you do that?
I don't know, because it seems very unlikely.
You're not eating my Cubs hat.
No, you hold your Cubs hat very dear to you.
Yes. And you're going to wear my other Cubs hat to the games in May.
Woo! I'm excited for that one.
But anyway, that's beside the point.
Yes. We'll get there in October.
It's freaking 2 months away till we go see the Cubs play against the Padres.
All right, man.
But anyway,
so
October.
let's do this. Our top 20. We're going to share album by album. And
The albums that shaped our lives.
We might cry, full disclosure.
I'm going to go with no.
No?
No crying.
Next week?
Maybe next week. But, it's one of those things where...
Next week, guaranteed tears, guys. Tune into that.
But remember, you got to listen to the entire album to bring about the tears, right?
Sometimes just talking about it and talking about what it means to you can bring about tears. That's true for a lot of these albums.
Perhaps. Especially when you talk about the loneliness of listening to these albums, enjoying them by yourself.
Oh, no.
We were not popular people in our late teens, or for you teens.
It's for me teens. I'm going to be 31 years old this year.
So we'll see. There might be tears. There might not be tears.
All right. Adam said it. Guaranteed tears.
Do we need to give any feedback from last week's episode?
Our listener who messaged us last week messaged us back this week that he, based on the recommendation on our show, he listened to What It Is to Burn by Finch, and he loved it.
For the first time ever?
I suppose.
Wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Yeah, so...
I think everybody should at least listen to that album.
I love knowing that, things that we say have an impact somehow. That's so cool. So, if you guys checked out something that we recommended, and, if you liked it or didn't like it, we'd love for you to let us know.
What's the name of the lead singer of Finch?
Nate. Starts with a B.
Damn it, because I saw him at the Wetzel's Pretzels. He was working there.
Right.
And it just said Nate on his name tag, so I didn't know his last name.
Okay.
But I asked him what he thought about Say Hello to Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
And he said, do you want fries with that? And then that was it. That was all I got out of him.
That's okay. You brought up a very
This
good
was
point.
at the Promenade Mall in Temecula.
You
where
brought up a
Finch
very
is
good
from.
point right now. Hold on.
Okay.
I want to follow up on this. So they sell fries at the Wetzel's Pretzels now?
Apparently. I didn't see them, but I think they keep them in the back.
So our top 20, Adam.
Who's going first? You went first last time?
I did. You want
I
me to
thought
go
it was
first again?
great that you went first last time.
Okay.
But, I always go first.
That's fine. You went first the last 3 weeks, so I'll
And
go.
all of our end of the year
And
countdowns.
every single day.
Just because you don't volunteer.
Well, because it helps my OCD because your name's Adam. It starts with A. And
Oh, because the skinny with Mike and Adam makes sense. That
I
way.
was. Do you remember what I was pushing to name it Adam and Mike?
I was pushing to call it My Chemical Bromance.
I love that so much. Okay, so let's do this. Number 20.
Number
Okay,
20.
so
This is coming out. What was your number 21 again, real quick?
Okay, let's
Coming out of
recap
that
a
one.
little bit. I'll go back my top 3 album.
Okay.
3 before. Number 23, Sticks and Stones by Newfound Glory.
Yes.
Nostalgia Core.
Nostalgia.
Number 22, the flawless emotional album that is known as Kintsugi
That's right.
by Death Cab for Cutie.
Yes.
And just barely right outside the top 20, which means this band is not on my top 20, unfortunately, but 21's pretty respectable.
Okay.
Acceptance Speech by Dance Gavin
That's
Day.
right. You didn't have to do a whole, only one album per band per 10 clumps of albums,
I did
right?
not do that. No.
Okay. Thank God.
These are just there is no limits, as you can probably see later.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, here's my number 20.
Just saying, as things go by, there might be some repetition of bands.
We'll have some
little bit.
We'll have a little bit of crossover.
A little bit.
A little bit.
But anyway, let's
see what we
jump
have
into your 20.
For top 20. Okay, so number 20 for me, I'll have to say it's the last time I'm going to be talking about this band.
The final time.
Final time in this
Therefore,
list.
the best album by this band.
The
right?
best album from this band.
Same with my number
favorite
20.
album from this band.
Okay.
And,
That's again an interesting crossover because there are times where it could be the best album but not our favorite.
Right.
Or it could be our favorite but not their best.
Tune in to the last 4 episodes for all that confusing mess.
Yes. So this is where our brains go. So this is your favorite and the best album from this particular band, and it is?
And it is about to play in a minute because I lost my place. And here it is, Here it is right here. You know,
Wanna talk
this
about-
album has,
Okay.
I feel like with this album, it has, it's the most consistent that this band has ever been as far as good songs go, the big chunk of good songs. And it was all clenched for me that I knew that this was going to be a favorite of mine, not just with this band, but maybe of all time, as soon as this song played.
Oh, when you took that ring off. Oh.
Bullet in your face.
Oh,
This
man.
is
The
the
best.
sixth album by Taking Back Sunday. Came out in 2014.
Yes.
This is Happiness.
You can hear our entire review of it back in 2014.
There's an episode out there. Please
There's a
check
lot,
that out if you can.
A lot of discussion of this album throughout 2014.
And I remember vividly, we were sitting outside in Adam's backyard recording this episode, track by track review, and Adam.
It was in my living room
Oh, was it the living room? Okay, well,
because it was February and it was cold.
and then when this song came on, Adam mentioned that it's like, yeah, when this thing come on, as soon as he said that, when you took that ring off, I was like, nope, fuck this song, I hate
Fuck
it,
this song. I hate it. It's a bullshit song.
hate this song, too many feels.
Yep.
This is the most emotionally crushing song that Adam Lazzara has ever shared
Yes.
with his fans. And
Another interesting story about this song, but I'll let you share your story first, and then
with Adam Lazzara?
with this song.
What
When
about-
when you
Go ahead,
voted it
share.
your number 1 song of 2014,
Yes.
and it was pre-breakup with your wife, and your wife
Technically.
walked into the room while you were playing this song.
Yes.
On the podcast, and Mike said, "I've never been through a divorce before, so I can't fully comprehend what this song truly means."
This was 2 months after she broke up with me, but still living with me.
Yes.
And I was trying to make it work still.
And she happened to be in the room right when he said that.
Right.
And Mike wasn't telling me anything about his relationship at the time, but I kind of knew there was hints of things.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for the best, but
Well, so was I too, but it wasn't meant to be, as we all know. But this song is,
yes.
especially when I know Adam and I look at this album. We see it as there's a narrative through line,
Yes.
all kind of
an
peaking right here at Better Homes and Gardens at this song. And this song is the emotional high point of it. This song even elevates the songs around it. It makes the other songs, if you look at it from a narrative through line too, it makes the songs around it that much more powerful, that much more emotional.
I have to agree with that.
It's such a good song. It's a great album. And like I said, this is the only Taking Back Sunday album where I feel like every song is great.
Well, and hey, that's why it's my number 99 album of all time.
There we go, baby. There we go.
Just saying. Sometimes there's great albums that are low on our list. It's just semantics.
Exactly.
But I understand.
Exactly. That's the whole point of this list. These are all albums that we love just because one's 99, maybe one of them's number 20. It doesn't matter. They're great, and that's why we're talking about them.
And the great feeling of talking with other Taking Back Sunday fans in February of 2015.
That
and
was great, too.
None of them having heard this album yet.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Get out of here. Nobody likes you. You might be really attractive, but nobody likes you.
Are they going to play Tell All Your Friends?
Probably.
Do you think they're going to play that song?
I don't know. And make
That's
damn
the-
sure they might close with it. Fuck, who gives a shit? Anyway,
Singles!
my number 20 album of all time comes from a little band that is not a stranger to either of our lists.
Ooh, yes.
Let me make sure real quick. One last peek at my list to make sure that I'm talking about the right band. Not a stranger to any of our lists, but this album definitely I hold in higher esteem than Mike does when it comes to the arc of this band. So clickety click.
So much clicking. Oh, that's gonna sound good on the audio version of this podcast.
So this band was introduced to us in the year of our Lord 2014.
The year 2014.
This band was already pretty established, yet not in Mike and mine's brain. But luckily, they were going to be opening at a show that we went to. Well,
Ooh.
not so much opening as being right smack in the middle of 5 bands.
Okay.
But this was definitely the standout band from that. And this was the album that drew me in. And this is probably my favorite song that they'll never play live because this album is too old now. But this would be...
Yes, my brother, like a person, baby, right on track,
Oh my.
You got to know this. You got to know this. I know it's not your favorite album from this band.
That sounds like old school Joel Burst. This is the Amity Affliction.
Boom.
Oh, Severed Ties.
So,
Wow. Cool.
again, I wouldn't say their best album, but I would say my favorite album
Cool.
of this band's
This is
entire
a
discography.
2008 out. Is this their second? Second.
First
right?
full
First.
length.
Okay.
This was their debut to the world, pretty much. So yeah, I had started absorbing this band in 2014 before we went to the show where they opened for Bless the Fall.
Right.
And I listened to their first 2 EPs, and I was like, meh, that's all right. And then all of a sudden, I go into their first full length, and it was just like start to finish. Mike had already informed me this band was just a crappy metalcore band, so I wasn't expecting too much.
Right.
But by
Keep
the
those
time
expectations low, baby.
by the time I got done with this album, I was just like, whoa. I had given it a 9 out of 11, Human Tragedy, back in 2014.
Right.
Now, on re-listen, I have no idea which songs I didn't like, because straight through, including the Pat Benatar
The Pat
cover,
Benatar Love is a Battlefield cover.
and the brilliance of throwing in parts from Hot Rod
Right. I
for
remember
no
that.
reason, but still, it works. And this is definitely my favorite track on this album.
Fruity Lexia.
Fruity Lexia, track 6. Just Amity Affliction at the height of their game. One of the most hookiest songs on the album. And every time I listen to it, I just want to get up and thrash my fucking
There's
head
a lot
off.
of cool layers to this album as well, you know?
And this is when they were getting good, and they hadn't developed their sound yet. Because it wasn't like, well, I mean, they hadn't developed their formula yet.
Yeah,
Let's
their
put it
formula.
that way.
There we go.
By the time Chasing Ghosts comes around, they got their formula.
Right.
But this one, they're still finessing it.
They're
It's
still
new.
they're still young. They still have that punk edge to them, you know, where they just want to
Definitely.
just like put it all out there. I don't give a fuck. We're just gonna write the music we care about.
Right. So there's a lot of cool elements to this band, and I still feel this is, I still feel Let the Ocean Take Me is their best, but this one is still my favorite.
It's their
by far.
financially though, so their best as well.
This one was?
No, Let the Ocean Take Me.
Oh, well, yeah. But this is still my favorite, therefore my number 20 album.
I like
of all
it.
time.
That is a great choice, my friend. All right, so number 19. This is this band's most recent album. That doesn't, like I said, like I mentioned before, another band. Like that doesn't mean it's a recent album.
Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Got
Hardwired
it.
to Self-Destruct.
Great album.
So many riffs.
So many layers and minutes.
Man, it's got drums. It's got bass.
77 minutes of power. Anyway.
So this is this band's most recent album before they announced that same year, at the end of the year, that they were breaking up. They were going. They felt as if this band has kind of reached its peak, and just we're just going to either go on hiatus for now, or it might never happen again. Luckily, we
better
know
happen
now that it's happening again.
Okay, good.
So I'm still waiting on news for more of it to come.
That's right.
But this is probably my favorite song off of this album. This is this band's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is their 6th record as well.
Yes.
This is the album that I felt like they should have written after their 4th album.
Yes, because for
City
some
by Light
reason
Divided.
you hate their 5th album.
I don't hate their
For
5th
reasons
album.
unknown to me.
I don't hate it. I just
not.
don't enjoy it.
I just really, really don't want to listen to it
I just
ever
think
again.
it's one of
But this album,
No
Devolution,
Devolution from
by-
2011
by Thursday.
Thursday. This is
Yes.
the song Past and Future Ruins. Definitely my favorite song on this one. I love how the song starts one way and it ends completely. It's almost a completely different song by the end. It's beautiful. I think it perfectly encapsulates the way Thursday writes music. Thursday is my favorite band. And they have been for many years now. And,
Favoriter than Census Fail.
Favoriter
Oddly
than
enough.
Census Fail.
All
Yes. And No Devolution capitalized on a lot of the atmosphere and keyboard elements that I felt like what made their 4th album, A City by Light Divided, masterful. And this album as well has really good songwriting, and I feel like the song were structured around Jeff Rickley's songwriting.
This was such a huge departure from what the band was prior to this.
They do different things, like in all of their albums too.
Because my introduction to this band was you throwing me right into A City by the Light Divided.
You'll love
and
it.
me being like, not a fan yet.
Yes.
But then when No Devolucion came out, and I listened to it, this was what hooked me into this band. So this album can stand alone by itself, which is why it's number 141 on my list. I gave it a 10 out of 12. I mean, that's pretty
great.
fucking great.
Great score.
And then I went back.
141, 10 out of 12. Yeah,
And then I went back and re-listened to their discography. I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
So
It's
yes.
a very interesting
Completely
musical arc that this band goes through. They go. We're not going to count their first album. Their first album, Waiting, can kind of just be like a demo album, to be
Pretty
honest.
much.
But their hit breakout album, Full Collapse, was like an emo masterpiece, and then their follow-up, War All the Time, was a super aggressive, super angry, super political album that was on a major label.
9/11.
9/11.
Always.
And then they released A City by the Light. City by the Light Divided, and that was like a big monster hit, at least for their fans. Like Island Records promptly dropped him. Like we can't sell any of these songs. We can't sell these to Pepsi.
People like this stuff, but we can't sell it. Sorry.
We can't sell it, so we're gonna drop you. So the band like kind of broke up a little bit, and then they released Common Existence, and that was a very interesting album. Like it was very aggressive, but kind of new agey. They did some weird experimental stuff, and then they released No Devolucion, and again going back to the cool atmosphere and songwriting structure.
So much more
City by Light.
electronica.
Yeah,
I always feel.
definitely. This is their most electronic heavy album as well. Oh, but I love this album so much, and it's like Adam says, it's a good standalone record too. If you've never heard of Thursday before, this is a good album to kind of throw you in, and it gives you a good taste of what their music is all about through their whole career, I feel.
Damn straight. And that's why, if you listen to that one first, and you're like, okay, I like this. Maybe I would like this band if they were more of just a rock band. Then you can go back.
But they have albums where they're just a rock band too. Adam is shuffling papers.
I'm looking for my other Thursday albums.
I know. The last time I heard was Common Existence.
That was
very
the
high.
That was the only one to make my top 100.
Oh, okay.
At number 79.
Pretty high for you.
So yeah, but Full Collapse was my number 104.
Oh, okay. So you like Full Collapse better than No Devolucion, huh?
I did.
Wow, interesting.
Because like you said, emo masterpiece, and I'm a teenage girl. Emo masterpieces are my specialty.
That's where we draw our strength.
So my number 19 album. I would be very surprised if this ended up anywhere near Mike's number top 20. It's not there.
Okay.
Let's just put it that way.
It's
not
good?
there. It's not there.
Oh, okay.
It's not on Mike's list at all.
Okay, sure.
Maybe 101, but we've already discussed how he has 17 number
I have a lot of
101s.
101s.
So this one definitely is my first nostalgia album of the week.
We all need those nostalgia albums. At
The
least
year-
in the top 20 as well.
The year, let's see, was 2004. I had been listening to a lot of grunge from 2001 through 2004, and I was like, I'm ready for a little bit of a change in my music now. After 3 years of listening to only Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and other knockoff grunge bands,
There's more bands?
there were other bands out there, and this album came out and was a huge hit. So I have a lot of albums on my list that are the breakout hits of their year, of their day. As for this one, the comeback that was for this band in 2004. And it's hard for me to choose a song, but man, I've been trying to figure this out all week, which song to play. And I think I'll just play track 3 because it's probably one of my favorites. But this album became a musical. And if you watch
Adam
the musical,
saw the off-Broadway version of this musical.
the Temecula Players Club.
That's right.
This album came out of nowhere for me. I heard from a friend, hey, that new Green Day album's pretty good. And I said, I'll get around to that in about a year and a half. And I did. And my God, This album took me to a whole nother direction.
What's the name of this album? Adam?
This is Green Day with American Idiot.
There you go.
Yes, by 2005,
Everybody has heard this album.
they have.
At least once.
And they've heard this song.
Yes.
Definitely the standout single, I think.
It's not American Idiot. It's their actual breakout single.
And every time you listen to this album, you can take it in different ways. Even after watching the musical, which I choose to reject its reality and replace it with my own,
Okay.
you can still find so many different layers to the lyrics and the themes of it. And it's about just a dude going crazy and like growing up in suburban environment and hating his parents and doing drugs and living that lifestyle for a while. And then by the time you get to Homecoming, towards the end, it's like that song is so pivotal in an amazing sort of way.
Yeah, talk about narrative structure. This is
Holy
an
shit.
album that is the narrative structure.
Yes.
It doesn't hold up without the narrative structure.
So when you get to that Homecoming one, it's kind of the reality of all of the shenanigans of the first 10 tracks.
Yeah.
There's the craziness, there's the drug use, there's the depression, there's all that stuff. And then it was like that song is putting it back together, and it's 10 minutes,
Yeah.
which is great because it just is like 4 different songs in one.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about playing that song, but it's just like, let's go with the fun one during this whole thing.
That's awesome, man.
So I can still listen to this album and enjoy it for what it is, regardless of what Mike might think of this band.
I was so sure this is going to be a top 10 album.
Top 10 album.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you consider that at some point?
it's just because songs like When September Ends, I know I didn't like those songs back in the early aughts, mid-aughts. I just thought they were kind of boring. Listening to them now, 10 years removed,
Yeah.
it's like, it's a good song. It's
Yeah.
fine for what it is. I don't have to hate it because I heard it on the radio so
Yeah.
much.
You have to set that aside.
Even Boulevard of Broken Dreams, I was like never a big fan of that song, but I can still like it for what it is now with all the
Yeah.
hype died down. And I don't know, is there any other big singles? American
American
Idiot.
Idiot.
When I first heard that song, I was like, oh, this is shit. I
There we go.
Yeah. So,
So
now
you can't put that in your top 10 because of your past feelings for it?
I think so. And just
Okay.
because
That's
like
fair.
I still feel like those songs are not like great, but they're still good songs.
Sure.
Where pretty much the rest of the album I feel is great. So perfect album nonetheless. The only album my wife and I can get along with.
And see a play about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Holiday I still feel is great. That was like the best part of the play.
That was the best single for me
Yes, of
that
course.
that they released for that.
I mean, I did like Jesus of Suburbia
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit. 8 or 9 minutes later, however long it is.
I don't know for sure, but I'm sure they released 11 singles on this album anyway, but it doesn't
But
matter.
Holiday, seeing it visually on stage was really cool because they did a lot of really interesting choreography around it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I can dig this. And then it kind of fell apart from there.
There we go. Shut you up to 19.
Yes.
All right, so moving down now to number 18. I vividly remember when I first heard the song I'm about to play, and I knew right away I have to find out what this band is.
Ooh,
I
okay.
was getting ready for school. In the morning, I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm going to put on some music.
Ooh.
So I turned on Fuse. And
Okay.
this
What
music,
age were you? Like, was this? You can just say in general, high school, middle school.
This is
whatever.
high school.
Okay.
I
You don't
believe I
tell me
was
the year.
16.
16.
16,
Okay.
at least when I heard this song.
So you had like a baby brother at home,
I
kind
did.
of, who you were like trying to keep the volume down, not to wake him up,
He was awake.
because he had autism. But he probably wasn't.
This band caused it, I'm pretty sure.
But he probably wasn't noticing it because he was so caught up in what's going on in his head.
This band,
but anyway,
but this song was so unique, and even today, not just for its time. And this, and I just had to know what that sound was. Like, it was such a weird mishmash of punk and alternative and melodic,
Weathered by Creed.
weathered by Creed. Do you know this?
It sounds very familiar.
Very popular single. from this
2002?
band. 2002, baby. This is The Used by the band The Used. You almost always pick the best time
All right.
to drop the... Wow! I fucking love this record!
This album is great.
Oh
I
my
cannot
god!
deny
This
it.
is... And then I finally bought that. And I finally bought the record. $23 later.
yes, you did.
And it was the... And I re-listened to it again this last week. And it is still one of the most unique sounding albums, standalone, that I've ever heard. To this day, this is 15 years later, and this is still one of the most unique albums I've ever heard.
Thanks to Kelly Osbourne.
Thank you, Kelly Osbourne.
You brought this band to the masses. Oddly enough, remember how I said Thursday was number 141?
Yes.
The Used self-titled album, 142.
Wow.
10 out of 12.
Cool.
There's a couple, those 2 tracks on there are very difficult to listen to.
Which ones?
I have no idea because they're just
super heavy shots?
super too not good.
Okay. A box full of sharp objects?
No, I love that song.
That's an amazing fucking song.
I know. Why would you even say that song as a possibility of not being a good song?
Yeah. I mean,
Incredible.
they have songs here that are ballads. They have songs here that are just pure fucking chaos, like Box Full of Sharp Objects.
Yes.
And then they have songs that are mainstream, like this one. This is the most mainstream song they've ever written.
What's the name of this one?
Buried Myself Alive. This is the music video that I saw. And there's an odd... And we listened to this record, and I was just thinking, like, there's an odd sexiness to this album that Burt McCracken kind of oozes through his vocals. And I can see, like, this is an ugly man who looks like he tastes like garbage water. But because of his charisma, I can see why people are attracted to him.
Yes, I would have to agree.
Emo masterpiece.
Emo masterpiece.
The Used
It was-
by The Used.
It was your 2002.
Yes.
And I can remember knowing of this band, but thinking they're going nowhere. I don't need to listen to them.
Right.
Why even bother? Is their name Alice in Chains? No. It's 2002, baby. Alice in Chains for life.
Grunge is just right. Grunge is just getting its holding.
Yes.
It's going to take over the world.
But still, great album. Thank you again. I mean, The Used did not end up in my top 100.
Right.
But you still introduced me to them, and I thank you for that. I also don't thank you for that, for their later albums. But that's okay. The first
Adam,
two
so
were
let me
great.
know. So tell me why your number 18 is "Lies for the Liars" by The Used.
I always felt that song, Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire, spoke to me.
Hanging by a telephone wire.
So dumb. Do you think they had to pay royalties for that song? Or is that like
Who
general...
did they pay Dr. Seuss?
That's why I didn't know if it was like a general like public domain
I think
song.
it's a public domain song.
Like anything Hammerstein and Goldschmidt or whatever those songs are.
Rogers and Hammerstein.
Yeah. Doe, a deer, a female deer. We don't have to pay for that one. Anyway.
Wait, don't say that out loud because that's the next Used single. Oh, fuck that band.
2011.
Number 18.
When, again, 3 years of listening to AFI and Rise Against only, I was finally like, I'm ready for something new. And Mike introduced me to bands such as Chiodos, as Bullet for My Valentine. Not by his recommendation, but because I wanted to listen to them.
Right. Because I had a lot of money on my Best Buy credit
My
card.
Chemical Romance, you were introduced me to that year. Oh God.
Thrice.
Circus Survive.
Circus
Thrice.
Survive.
Thrice. But also, this band was introduced to me this year.
Ooh.
And let me assume the position that is me finding my albums.
Click away, my friend. Click away.
Clickety clack. So, yes, Mike told me lots of stories of this band. Oh God, I didn't choose a song.
You can choose
Yes, I did. Did I?
one. This is making for great radio
It
time.
is. Okay, got it. So, my favorite song.
Don't be shy.
Which one was it?
My favorite song, when I can find it.
Oh man, I should have planned ahead on this one. All right. Is this it? Nope. This one.
All right. Well, I know what band this is.
Yes. How could you tell by just a couple of guitar licks?
Because I've listened to this album hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times.
This is His Last Walk by Bless the Fall.
Yes.
The only Bless the Fall album featuring their lead vocalist.
Go ahead and
Mavic.
go back to Pray. Click ahead.
Okay.
Click ahead.
Adam doesn't like this song times like these. He wants Pray.
So, you
That-
introduced
this
me to
song
this
is not
band.
a good representation of their music, but it's
No. But this song is a good break
Yeah.
from the destructive chaos of beautiful everything.
Yeah.
2007's His Last Walk, Bless the Fall, in their pure form. Not the only album to make my top 100, because Witness also made it.
We did.
But I was introduced to this band thinking, I don't know if I can enjoy this level of hardcore. But then
I was sharing this with you thinking, oh, this isn't that hardcore.
Right.
He might like this.
He might like this. Mike had already told me that Awakening from 2011 was his
my
worst
number 10
and best.
Yeah, my number 10 best and my number 10 worst.
Of 2011. So this must have been early 2012 you introduced me to this band.
Yeah.
Craig Mabbitt.
Nobody can scream like Craig Mabbitt.
And when you listen to this even more so now, and knowing there's Craig Mabbitt screams, and there's bass player
Jared
Worth
something.
Jared screams.
Screamers.
If you listen closely, you can hear the difference of Craig versus Jared, which gave the band an incredible hook that they never really got again.
Oh,
as much as
bold.
that pains Mike after Hollow Bodies.
That's bold.
But in their purest form was His Last Walk, and I cannot deny how good, after listening to this album for a solid week, and even by the time I get to track 11, just being like, what the fuck? Every single song is brilliant on this album. Where has this band been? Why how is this their first album? They're like 21 years old when they came up with this album, thereabouts, right? And, things have changed for this band. They're still a band.
There's like 2 original members now.
The drummer and the bass player.
Yeah.
And one of the guitar players, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, it's 3 then, okay.
Yeah.
And Craig Mabbitt's gone on to not make our 100 best album. Oh, he's Princeman.
He's here now.
Well, I mean, his other bands have not made our top 100.
That's right.
I'm surprised no...
Shapeshifters is in my top 150.
No Dead Rabbits, yeah.
Top 150.
Okay.
It's there right around where Thursday and The Used were.
Okay.
But this song bridged me from all of my grunge roots into the hardcore element.
That's bold, man. A single song did that?
I think this song did it because, I mean, there's plenty of grunge songs that have these elements in it where it's like it's not just dun 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 dun. It's like all these guitar elements mixed with the screaming.
This song is the epitome of we're bad boys with a heart of gold.
No.
Yes.
That's We're Bringing On the Heartache.
Oh, okay.
By Winger.
Ding! Wink.
So, this is 2007.
Yeah, this is a great album that just kind of showcases what you can do when you combine metal riffs with hardcore chugga-chuggas in a masterful way with some talented musicians
and then
driving the car.
Thrown in with utter chaos at the end of a beautiful song.
Oh, yeah. This song started off so beautifully with clean guitar. It was like, oh, this is a good song for my family.
Right.
No, fuck your family.
So even after all this time, my number 18 album, introduced to me by Mike McCullough in 2012-ish. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
You're very welcome, man. I'm glad you enjoy that. Did not make my top 100. It's my 101.
101.
It's a great
101.85.
So, great album nonetheless. All right. So, I don't know what number album this is. This is my number 17. No, 18?
You just
17.
Negated yourself.
I did. But I don't know what number album of this band is because I kind of lost track.
Okay.
But for all intents and purposes, this is this band's first album. Because, they had, some lineup changes here and there. And then they released this album in 2004. And it shot them to underground superstardom. And then again, 2 years later to actual superstardom. But
this was before everybody knew about them when Mike was still cool.
This is when they were
still
playing
cool to like this band.
Yeah, this is when they were playing the smaller stages on Warped Tour. This is when they were opening for bands. And then 2 years later, bands would be lucky to, they look their way.
Right.
But
by 2006 was done.
I want to say this is this band's third album. It might be their fourth, but like I said, I count it as their first. My number 17, probably their best song on this album.
The best song?
Huh?
The best song, you feel?
I take that back.
Okay, I'm just making sure. That's why I always ask.
Yeah. But I chose this because this is a good song that represents this album. This is their only Chasing Safety by Underoath.
It sure is, Mike.
The debut album from lead singer Spencer Chamberlain.
That's right. Because the first two albums, again, I've never heard them.
Are garbage fires.
That's what people have told me. By people, I mean Mike.
Yes.
Only.
As you know, I gave all my music to my girlfriend Erica, and she was like, "Oh, Mike always talks about Under Oath. I'm gonna go check out Under Oath." So without any context, she listened to the album right before this. Do you remember what it's called?
No.
Changing of Times.
There you go.
And she texted me, "Why do you like Under Oath?"
But remember, I had the same concept, and I started on this album,
this one, yeah.
right around that 2011, 2012 stuff.
Right. Can you explain to me why you don't enjoy this album as much?
My number 107 album.
Mm.
They're Only Chasing Safety by Under Oath.
Never mind.
8 out of 9.
Never mind.
There's, for some reason, a 54-second interlude.
Interlude, kind of like a radio tower, kind of grabbing a signal. I think it was.
Yes.
That's right before this song, by the way.
But no, it took me a long time to get this album, and a long time of listening to some of their other albums to really understand what the fuck was going on in this album.
Was it too chaotic for you?
Yes. Spencer was too chaotic for me until I got what Spencer was.
Yeah.
Spencer was in Sleepwave.
Okay.
Like, I didn't really appreciate Under Oath until I enjoyed Sleepwave and, met Spencer Chamberlain, took your picture with him and all that. But then I kind of understood Under Oath after that.
Okay. This is also one of the first albums I listened to that was heavy. That was intentionally heavy throughout, but I really enjoyed it because I've never heard an album that was balanced with pop elements.
Yes.
A hardcore album, that was balanced with pop elements, and then throwing in these really cool keyboard-driven stuff throughout almost every single song. Again, just like with the Used right before it, one of the most unique albums to this day still.
I was kind of wondering at the time, 2004-ish, was
nobody
sounding
like
this?
this.
Because you could tell that Amity Affliction took a lot of influence from this album into what they became by 2008. But still, I mean, this is great. I can't deny how good this is.
Yeah, it's amazing. 6 incredibly talented young guys from Florida just came together and just changed the underground music scene forever. With this album, it's amazing.
They wrote the lyrics in a car.
In a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, because again, I didn't
come from anywhere.
I didn't realize that there was elements of Under Oath that had Spencer using his melody voice,
right?
His unclean vocal, or his clean vocals,
right?
So going back and listening to them after Sleepwave and having the understanding of what Spencer sounds like clean.
Yes.
I was like, oh.
Did you catch those little things here? Wait, that's not Aaron Gillespie
right.
at all.
And it was pretty fucking awesome.
That's so cool. Even to this day, we're learning new things about this incredibly, incredibly, I'm going to say timeless record.
So 8 out of 9 for me, 88.9%.
Damn
Just
good.
barely missed my, I mean, it's 2 below my honorable mentions.
It's right there. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why I didn't hear about it.
Still great. Everything on my list is great.
They all great.
But these are just
Semantics.
more greater than others. What number are we on?
17
for me. So, ooh, man, we are going to the totally opposite end of the spectrum.
Oh, no.
From Bless the Fall. But, okay, 2012. This album came out in 2009, but I didn't listen to it until 2012. I don't know how I came across this one. I know Mike had said he had been listening to it, and he thought it was good. And I was just like, well, what does Mike know? Because it wasn't hardcore, so I figured it probably wasn't that good. But I think...
Mike doesn't know shit about music. Everything... The narrative that you've spun for the last, how many weeks is everything I give you hate.
But that's just my first reaction, with most people.
Right.
Is oh, it's probably terrible, Mike doesn't like all good things. This is probably one of the things that Mike hates. But I think my wife asked for this album because we were going to be going on our road trip. So this was the band's first album, and it was prior to them releasing their second album, which is also one of our favorites.
That is how it works, yes.
And I know I had picked there it is. Okay, so my wife and I listened to this album many, many times, driving around the entire country except the South. And I kept on thinking, listening to it, hey, this album is pretty good, but I'd never really listened to it just by myself. So even several more years went by before I listened to it by myself, and then realized, oh shit, this is a perfect album.
Oh.
And that's why it's going to end up here at my number 17. Musically, a far departure from where Bless the Fall was. But the debut album, 2009. This is one of the Barry tracks. This is not one of the singles. But this is probably one of my favorite songs off this album.
It sounds very familiar and very pretty.
And very pretty. Perhaps so pretty that it almost didn't fit in a scene.
Aww. Mr. Mumford.
Mr. Mumford
and his sons.
And his sons.
Sigh No More.
What a fucking incredible
This
album.
is a great record.
Man, I can remember hearing singles from this album on the radio and being, hey, Dave Matthews is really going in a good direction.
Right.
I'm really happy for this. This is going to be great. And then it wasn't Dave Matthews, unfortunately. But it's everything I wanted the Dave Matthews Band to
when
be.
Did Dave Matthews Band learn banjo?
Exactly. But everything I wish Dave Matthews would have become by 2009
Yes.
was concocted into this beautiful arrangement of mostly acoustic instruments
Uh-huh.
for Mumford and his sons on Sigh No More.
Yeah, I mean, this band is, I guess, musically a completely different band by now, but still, this is like the roots of like what made them popular too.
Right.
They have such a unique sound, and like while I love their last album, I feel like they're kind of throwing away all that potential now. But
I think that they will find a mixture on their fourth album.
you think so?
Yeah.
I hope so. They should bring the banjo back.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I remember getting chills with some of these songs.
Rain down on me. I always felt like this was the end of the album.
It feels
And it's
it.
like track 9 out of 12.
Yeah, well, it's all super long songs too. It's like almost every song's in the 4-minute range.
Yeah. But this song always just felt like the most incredible closer. And then it does 3 more songs that are equally incredible.
Right,
You know?
they're really good. They're all really good. This is a really good band, and I'm sure like a lot of mainstream music fans have heard this album as well.
Probably. Which is why this band just keeps on going.
Coffee Shop Rock,
Coffee shop rock. White people need only apply.
Giant Beards.
Giant beards. Because when you see this band live and they show shots of their fans, I'm like, those are the same people that were seeing Dave Matthews 10 years ago. Like,
Yep.
Pretty girls in tiny tops dancing in the aisles
Yep.
like young hippies. So, very beautiful song. Just incredible songs all the way
They
through.
go home and eat their artisanal cheeses.
Always. So, the song just keeps on building and swelling, and
Yeah,
then it
it's
finally explodes at the end, and
Oh,
it's great.
So good.
So,
I need
yeah.
to listen to this record again.
Please do.
Thank you for bringing it back.
Why it's not on your top 100, we'll never know.
101, Adam.
Just saying, you might need to change your list after you re-listen to some of these.
I'll do a giant list of all my 101s. How about that?
Well, shit, that'll be great.
Number
100 101s.
my 101 101s. Number 16. Oh man. So, how could this band top their debut masterpiece?
Mm-hmm.
How could they? It broke new ground. It kind of changed the scene in a lot of different ways, a lot of positive ways. And then of course you had a lot of people just trying to copy it.
Oh.
So you can't have that, right? So we
Well,
got to go
sometimes it's good, and most of the time it's terrible.
Most of the time, it's just some people think that flattery is the best form of the greatest compliment, but not when you're not a very talented band.
Right.
Like, don't do
You
that.
can try, but usually fail.
But I feel like this band went in a completely different direction with their second album because they kind of felt like they didn't want people copying their sound all the time. And as it turns out, it was their best album, and they will never. I'm gonna put my foot down and say they will never again top this album. I don't even think this band wants to.
Nope.
This band just wants to, just talk about Tumblr issues and
I
sing about it.
I unliked them many months ago.
Oh, my.
I have no idea what the Used are doing these days.
The Used with their second album, In Love and Death, masterpiece album.
In my opinion, just as good as the self-titled.
Just as good.
10 out of 12.
Very good.
It was right underneath.
Very good album. Yeah. They didn't double down on a particular sound. Like I thought they were going to. That's maybe their second album they're just gonna go more poppy, or maybe they're just gonna go more heavy. No, they just went more weird, and they wrote more songs where each song is just as different as the last, and you can have 12 spin-off bands based on each of these songs. And you can take like the sound of like track 12 and go off and do your own band like that. You can take a track that's based off of this really big single for them, All That I've Got, and make a completely different band that sounds just like that. But the Used took all of that and put that into one. It sounds like a compilation album, to be honest. It sounds like a greatest hits of a band that's been around for 20 years.
It's a weird mixture on this one because there's such heavy songs mixed with such not so heavy
It starts
songs.
off with this chaotic mess of a song
Take it away.
about a guy who's attracted to light, like sexually attracted to light. That's what I'm getting from the song. It's really weird.
That's not the opening track.
That is the opening track.
I thought Take It Away was the opening track.
Yeah, that is. He's sexually attracted to light in that album, in that song. It's a weird song.
There's one later on where he's sexually attracted to the ocean.
Yes.
So I was getting
And in
confused.
the last
My
album,
bad.
he's sexually attracted to blue.
Well, yeah, blue's hot. You got the sky, you got the ocean. It's just blue in general.
Blue balls? I mean, come on.
Democrat?
My navy blue indigo balls.
Yep.
This is the Used at the height of their powers.
This was the height. Unfortunately, it got a little to their head as time
I
went
think
by.
so. And their next album, Lies for the Liars, was, I'm gonna say, one of the worst albums I've ever heard.
Right.
Not just the disappointment of the follow-up of In Love and Death. It's a bad album on its own.
It's
I don't
really
know what
not
they were
good
thinking.
songs. There's,
Like-
I think I gave that like maybe a 3 or 4 out of
If
11.
The In Love, Lies for the Liars, I feel like is what In Love and Death could have been. Like if you flipped it, because In Love and Death is weird for all the great reasons, and Lies for the Liars is weird for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
So unfortunately, I'm
So-
still waiting for the Used to blow me away with an album again.
We're done.
You think they're done?
We're
They're just
done.
gonna write trash.
It's like
now?
I know I gave a lot of praise to artwork, but even on re-listen, I was like, well, it's a 7 out of 11, which I've decided is now, instead of 9 out of 11 being a human tragedy, 7 out of 11 is going
Donuts
to be
and coffee.
a human clay.
Okay.
Human clay is a 7 out of 11.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that's beside the point.
So let us take a moment of
I-
silence for this band that is no longer with us.
To grieve the used.
To grieve the Used, the musical corpse that they are nowadays.
To sound like the hipster douchebags that we hope to be,
Yeah, one day.
that we only like the band's old stuff.
Exactly.
New stuff just doesn't do it for me.
Well, it's a shame when your old stuff is the best stuff that you've written. Blow your wads
Sometimes.
on your number 16 best album of all time.
Shot that wad.
Mm.
My number 16 album of all time is definitely in the nostalgia realm.
Nice.
An album that I hope people listening to this probably don't know this album. Mike probably has never heard this album either.
Oh my.
But, there was a single that was very good on this album, and that's the one that I will play so that it'll be the most recognizable. But an interesting side story about this band was that it's a supergroup.
No.
But before supergroups were a thing,
Mm.
this supergroup happened before these musicians' bands took off.
Oh, cool.
So this album came out in 1991.
So would this technically be a side project?
It was really just a one-off
Okay.
because it was written because... How can I put this?
Everybody else in the other bands were on drugs.
Well, a dude died from drugs.
There we go.
Andy Wood died from a drug overdose.
Mm.
He was going to be like the next big pop star coming out of the Seattle scene.
Okay.
But heroin is a hell of a thing in Seattle. So his bandmates, who went on to become Pearl Jam, teamed up with Chris Cornell. And this was before Pearl Jam became a thing. And this was before Soundgarden got super duper famous. Because both of these bands, Soundgarden and Pearl Jam's album came out, I think, after this one.
A
I
Pearl
think.
Garden supergroup.
A Pearl Garden supergroup created the grunge icon hit that is this song.
I haven't heard this song in so long, man.
I know.
Oh, what is
Most
the name
people
of this band?
haven't. But this would be the one-off band that was Temple of the Dog.
Temple of the Dog.
With
There it
their
is.
self-titled album. I don't know which albums came out first or second or whatever, but Pearl Jam's 10, Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger, two, albums that took those bands to superstardom,
Right.
came out the same year. So it was almost like this band was promoted after those bands got super popular. And this song, like the first two tracks on this album were written for Andy Wood. They're all very like "We're sad that you're dead" kind of stuff. And then it was almost like the band said, "Hey, let's make some more songs." And they wrote some of the most incredible songs anybody can ever fucking imagine. The rest of the album
Yeah.
that have nothing to do with death or loss or anything like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Shit. I'm so sorry. I was trying to see the length of the record. I'm sorry.
Just skip ahead to.
There we go. Sorry.
So and then they brought in Eddie Vedder, who was not a household name at the time,
Right.
to sing the second verse of this song
Wow.
and show up in the music video, and people were like, "Who is this guy with this baritone booming, sexiness that was?"
we need to get more of this guy.
Because Chris Cornell sings the first verse, and then here's Eddie Vedder coming in for the second verse, and then it's and then this song just went on to become what it was. But nobody knows this band. Everybody thinks this is a Pearl Jam song.
This is grunge porn.
Grunge porn, exactly. So, yeah, Hunger Strike has nothing to do with Andy Wood's death. The rest of the album has nothing to do with his death. But holy shit, these songs are absolutely incredible. And they don't have like a weird, 1991 vibe to them. I feel like they could still be heard now, and still people would enjoy them.
Yeah, this is a nice soft alternative vibe, and
Some get more heavy, some are more soft like this. It's just a really incredible mixture. It's a great anti-theist song called Wooden Jesus.
it's not gonna bore you.
It's not going to bore you at all. Except, track 2 is about 11 minutes long.
That might bore you.
It's a song for 4 minutes and then 6 minutes of guitar solo.
Oh,
So, if you enjoy a Mike McCready guitar solo like
so,
I do,
So a Metallica song.
yes. But Mike McCready and Matt Cameron on drums, my
Matt
favorite
Cameron,
drummer of all
yes.
time, I could listen to those guys.
Who's in your fake band?
Yes. So, Matt Cameron is now in Pearl Jam and has been in Pearl Jam for like 20 years. So this is just a beautiful little snapshot of where these people were. And then to celebrate the 25th anniversary last year, this band got back together, went on tour. They released a 25th edition of this album, which, I probably would need that at some point.
It came out already?
Yes.
Okay.
With
is it remastered?
demos and remastered and all that kind of
nice.
stuff. And also, I don't have track 1 for this album.
I just noticed that. I was about to ask.
It's
what
been
happened to
deleted.
it.
I don't know, so I need a new
You
copy
definitely
of
need
it.
your remaster then. Alright, cool.
But yes, I hope everybody knows that song. Give this band a listen. You will not be disappointed.
That was awesome, man. Some nostalgia porn.
Number 16.
Very cool. I
Again,
think my number 15, kind of falls into that nostalgia porn as well.
more so than The Used, or around that same era.
It was around that same area,
Okay.
actually. And this is all. I think a lot of people know they use. I think especially our listeners. But I'm pretty sure beyond our listeners know this next song. My number 15 album. Adam talked about this album already, not too long ago.
Ooh.
This is my. No, I can't say that. Never mind. Scratch that. This is.
Is it the best or your favorite? Or is it just an AFI album?
This
that
is an AFI album.
Seems not so perfect, but it is perfect.
This is an AFI album.
Right.
It just happens to be Masterpiece, my number 15 album.
Yes.
What was the number?
It was my number 30.
30. Okay, cool.
So you were into this band a lot more at the time.
Not at first.
Oh.
Because, again, watching Fuse, Girls Not Grey would come on, the music video, the hit single that shot this band to superstardom. And I was like, this band's weird. I don't like this band.
It's got a lot of black eyeliner on.
There's a lot of black eyeliner. There's a weird girl in a paper mache mask. Rabbit thing. I don't like this band. And then they released this single, Leaving Song Part 2. I was like, I love this band.
This band is incredible. I fucking love them. And for me, it was the next single that also hooked me a
Oh,
lot.
goodness gracious.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, that one.
I know the whole album's great. Whatever.
Yeah, it's an incredible album. It's a cool album that has good ebbs and flows, and there's soft songs, and there's heavy songs, and then there's melodic songs. And this is the band, like, still retaining their punk roots, but just kind of taking that and molding it into something more palatable to the radio crowd. And I think it's the best of both worlds. You know, The Art of Drowning is great, an amazing album.
Yes.
But I feel like Sing the Sorrow is, the refinement of that. It's perfect.
Please release a remastered version.
Please
That's all we ask.
remaster this. This needs a remixing.
The 15-year anniversary is coming up next year.
Yes.
I'm ready. My body is ready.
My body is ready. This is... Oh, I would want nothing more than that. Oh.
And I just remember, like, realizing this band had 5 previous albums and just being like, I'm never going to listen to this band again.
Why do
I have no time for this.
Just start at perfection. That's all you need.
That's $20 per album.
So much money.
What if I don't like one of them? It's a waste of $20.
Oh, boy. AFI. Could you get any better than this?
We'll find out.
Maybe.
We will find out. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Shut the fuck up.
We can't read above what we're talking about right now.
So my number 15 album. Ooh. Woo! Nostalgia porn.
Give it to me, baby. It tastes so good.
Okay. I'm not even going to say anything until I start the song.
Okay. So I'm going to say words while Adam searches through his iTunes library. My back is turned.
I'm going to give this...
not spoil a surprise.
I'm going to give this a 1 minute and 57 second intro.
Okay.
Before I tell you who this album is and who this band is, and you'll probably be able to recognize it by the song. But this album was there for me in 1998-99. Now, and remember, from 1997 to 2002, I basically did whatever VH1 told me to do.
Okay.
But this band I had been into prior to that.
Oh.
I was like, oh, their previous album was great. Didn't end up on my list of top 100 because this album was far superior. I can remember driving to and from my school, and it was dark all the time in 1999. I don't remember sunlight that year.
Okay.
So, like, this album was so late 90s as well.
Yeah.
Also, it was the most popular album of that year. It was up for Grammy Awards.
Oh.
It did not win Grammy Awards.
Oh, no.
But primarily because of the song following up here. But around this one perfect song that's coming up here in a couple of seconds, there are some of the most incredible acoustic, folk-driven rock ballads and pop songs and rock anthems around it. And that's why I would say it is my number 15 album, regardless of what anybody would say about that, as I'm trying to space this out for the next, 20 seconds or so, because who doesn't want to listen to a 2-minute acoustic song right in the middle of an album that's so fucking perfect?
It's a good song. I love it.
And you will go into the next song, and you will know that this band will never be able to look back from that song, and they'll have to play it every single day of your life, of their lives, and they probably hate it by now, but we all know what's going to come next.
The Iris.
The Iris by Dizzy,
Dizzy Up the Girl
by the Goo Goo Dolls. The best Goo Goo Dolls album. There's a lot of good Goo Goo Dolls albums out there. I've already discussed several of them.
Yeah.
But this one takes the cake. This was them, the height of their powers.
This is where everybody knew them now.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
Well, and this
v.
song,
Meg Ryan.
This song came out on City of Angels soundtrack in 1998, and then they just so matter-of-factly put it onto this album that came out later that year.
Yeah.
I'd listened to this album in...
Do you know if they wrote it for that for that?
They
movie?
wrote it for the movie,
Oh.
yes. And then I'm pretty sure they had the brilliant idea, or the record label, Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
said, we should put this on your album because it's
Because
gonna
it sold millions.
it's gonna make your album sell fucking millions of copies. And they were like, okay, we'll throw it towards the back.
No one's gonna make it that far.
So yes, all that darkness, all of that, like, nobody understands me and this album.
Yeah.
Except the millions of people that also bought it.
Yeah.
There's songs on there that are buried underneath the singles. Because, of course, you got Slide, you got Broadway. Even Dizzy, the first track, was a single, not as popular. But then you throw in Black Balloon. That was, like, my anthem of 1998-99. Now, it doesn't stand up as much, yet it's still a great song.
You know, I tease this song all the time, and I just kind of playfully like mock it, like, oh yeah, Iris, whatever. But for realsies, Iris is like one of my favorite songs of all time. I'd say top 20.
Nearly 20 years later,
Yeah.
it's still one of the best songs that's ever been written.
Beautifully written song. It's probably formulaic as fuck when you like piece it, when you take all the parts, when you piece
But
it apart.
that mandolin, though.
That mandolin.
Without that mandolin, and without the strings
the
as
string
well.
right here, the string bridge, the string bridge, Adam.
And I love hearing them talk about it when they're on Behind the Music way back
I
then.
fucking hate it.
And they were like, as soon as the orchestra showed up,
Yeah.
we were like, well, I guess we're never going back to the garage.
Oh.
We're never going to be that garage punk band anymore. We got strings now.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yes, probably a perfect song.
I can't imagine
Perfect
what
album.
what it would be like to have this happen to you, to have an Iris happen to you.
I know, that was why I listened to this album so much when I was trying to write songs as well, because I wanted to capture that.
Yeah.
Granted, I never did, but I always wanted to. And yeah, great album, great songs.
Like
Everybody,
this album, like that song is so good. I haven't listened to the full album in a really long time, but that song is good enough to even like get Nicolas Cage out of your head.
yes, it is.
Okay, so
That was number one video on VH1 for like 3 months. I remember just like watching it over and over again.
Yeah, I know. Resnick's up in like that watchtower.
Yeah,
or whatever,
looking through
the
telescopes. I don't
Looking-
want the world to see me.
looking through scenes of the movie. But number 14, we're getting down to the end here. I saw this music video on I want to say Fuse. And
You were a Fuse
I
bitch,
was
much like
Fuse
I was
bitch.
a VH1 bitch.
Well, Fuse was great before they started actually putting programming on their
Yep.
on their channel. But I listened to this song and these music videos like, oh, that's a really good song. Like it's a haunting song. I want to go pick up this album. So I waited to the end of the music video to catch the band's name. So I wrote.
Mom,
it down.
get out of here! I'm watching my music videos.
I
Anyway.
was naked, of course. But I wrote down the band's name. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this record store when I get a chance and go pick up their album. I picked up their album. Mistakenly, I picked up their first album, which that song does not come on.
Oh,
Garbage Fire. I hope
It was-
to never listen to that album ever again.
it was that bad, huh?
But eventually, I rectified that mistake and I picked up this album
$20 later.
$20 later, and I finally got to absorb the beauty that is. Do you know what this is?
I know this album. I know this song. It's not the Used again.
Not the Used. I'm done with the Used.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Ah, man.
Wait till the lyrics come in. You
I can hear the lyrics already in my head,
when you hear the voice. I'm sure you're ready for it.
and I'm like, why am I only thinking the Used at this
I'm
point?
pretty sure you talked about this album already too.
It's not thrice. It's not 311.
Saw the western coast. Saw the
Deja Entendu.
Deja
There you
Entendu.
go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like brand new. New York's brand new. This is a beautifully depressing album. It has so much darkness, so much. This is one of the first albums I listened to that had an atmosphere to it. That had a
Really did.
that you walked away from it not feeling good because of how sad everything is. It just left you dour, but not in a negative way. Just more of in an empathetic kind of. I feel bad for everything
remember,
that you
it's
went
by
through.
the band Brand New. by the way.
I said that. Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember where it was for you?
Number 90.
90. Okay,
Number
cool.
90. an incredible album, and I even went back and re-listened to it after I did this to be like, because I never think of this album when I think of this band.
Yeah.
But then I go back and listen to it, and I enjoy it.
Oh, it's
every
magical.
time.
And
Yes.
I got the pleasure late last year to see them live for the very first time.
That's right.
The girl I was
You sure
seeing.
did, Mike. You
Yeah.
sure did.
It was a free ticket. The
Yes,
girl
it-
I was seeing, she let me tag along because she didn't want to take her ex-boyfriend.
Right. You got to pick up her other guys
I
she
got
was
to pick up
seeing.
her other friends, which was weird.
Yes.
But anyway,
But anyway, that's beside the point.
they played all these magical songs that I've just been listening in my earphones all my life, and,
Right.
and to hear them live and to hear the I'm gonna say they're very respectful fans who were like, I was expecting like, yeah, play that song I know, but like they were very respectful. They loved every song that came through because this is the band that like I don't think they have casual fans.
Play more from Daisy. Were they saying
Play more from your favorite weapon.
that? But that I've
Got
never
a
heard your.
$20 bill that says no one's ever seen you without makeup. You're always made up.
So I should never listen to that album. Is that
Garbage Fire.
Wow, okay.
Never listen to that, no matter what I tell you. Yeah, Deja Entendu is just. I would give that album to anybody. Anybody. If you're a music fan or not, I would tell you to listen to this. I think you would have a transformative experience. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
2003.
2003 masterpiece album, Deja Entendu.
Man, that was your number 14?
14.
Whew. Okay. So yeah, we're getting into much more of the feels.
Yeah,
at this point.
I was choking up right
There's
now.
like a big difference between the feeling of wanting to, cry and be miserable, and then there's the feeling of wanting to stand up and thrash.
Oh.
And it makes you feel so good.
Oh.
I mean, you can see that that's pretty much where we lie.
That's
Either I want to cry or I
We're
want to
two
destroy
extremes.
things. Or destroy things,
so
pretty much.
you're either on a brand new scale, you're either Amifliction, or you're like the Color Morale. It's like, oh, it's all right.
It's pretty good. There's some good hooks in there.
Sorry, Brandon.
On one album, pretty
Yeah.
much. But my number 14 comes from a band that has been well documented on my best 100s list. I've already told the stories. Oddly enough, when I told the story of this band last week, when their album showed up in my 40 through 21, I had made a mention that Mike had originally given me all of these albums. Like I said, I had went to the store and I bought album number 4, and then Mike gave me albums 1 through 3.
Okay.
But that was not the case. Goddamn lying sack of shit that you are.
Man, you know me.
You gave me one album, and then I had to go out and spend my money on albums 1 and 2. Granted, I remember spending over $20 for album 1
Why
But-
didn't you just wait for me to give you the album?
because I didn't have time for that shit.
Oh.
I was at Best Buy that day,
Oh.
and I saw my number 21 album in the store, and I was like, I got $20.
Okay.
What if I hate it? Meh, it's okay.
Oh no, didn't you? Yeah, I think you told me because you had a gift card or something.
Maybe. I
Okay.
hope so.
Cool.
But album number 2 from that band, I'm just going to play Mike's favorite song.
Oh yes. Yes.
I remember buying this album as well,
Uh-huh.
used
Uh-huh.
for like $8 or $9,
Yeah.
and I was not disappointed by any means.
Adam, I love Revolutions Per Minute.
Revolutions
Rise
Per
Against.
Minute. Again, not my favorite Rise Against album, but I feel it's their best.
It is their best.
I know it was the highest ranking on your list.
It is. Yes.
Because Siren Song, Suffer and the Witness, Unraveling. I can't
That's some
pick
good-
a favorite of those ones, but I always feel that Revolutions is the most like. It's not as like early 20s as the Unraveling was.
Yes.
Better songwriting, better hooks. This one sounds more mature,
mainstream sound.
more mainstream sounding, but still plenty of not mainstream sounding stuff.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. This is definitely a radio hit.
It is.
You know?
Yes. This is their like. Hey, write us a hit. You know.
So-
Number 49 for me.
That's right. 49. 14 for me. I just re-listened to it yesterday, and minus the great cover of Journey
Yeah. That's a great cover.
at
though.
the end. Yeah.
That's a great cover.
So always crazy. So the song's towards the end. One last chance to go. If
Oh,
I
I
don't
love
leave
One
tonight,
Last-
I never
Yeah.
will. It makes me want to rewatch American Beauty because there's clips from American Beauty in that song.
Got to go to New York tonight. Would you go with me?
Janie's a freak, and so am I. It's a good movie.
I like it.
Not that good of a movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, you want to fuck a hot girl. All right, I get it.
Well, you're an old man who wants to fuck a hot girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it. I wanted to fuck Mina Savari a lot in 2003.
Oh, didn't we all?
Oh man, she has not aged well. But anyway,
What? Really?
she is. You saw her in American Pie, The Return
She
of
looked great.
The Return of Spawn, or whatever it was.
This is my first Rise Against song. 2003 Warped Tour compilation.
Hence why I chose it, because you didn't talk about it in depth.
Yeah.
But man, front to back, straight through. This album's really short too. Maybe 30, 35 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You will not be disappointed by
It's
it.
a really brisk album, but you feel like you got its worth. You know, you
And-
don't feel like it overstayed its welcome.
And that bass.
that bass line,
They-
oh, it's so good.
so
Everything
much-
about this album is amazing.
AFI and Rise Against used that bass sound
Oh yeah.
so much throughout their albums that drew me in, and it's like that bass sound is lost now.
yeah.
So anyway, that's just a side note.
Oh boy. Here we
All
go
right.
now. Number 13.
Okay.
Now
Oh God, I just looked at mine. Anyway,
so now I have, even though I'd still say this song is this album's a masterpiece, even though there's two songs on here that like I could do without,
okay.
because the strength of every single song around it carry those. I guess I would say
Subpar.
weaker song,
Yes,
in
those
my opinion.
B pluses.
B pluses, I guess. But I'm gonna play my favorite song. This was a UK single.
Ooh.
I don't know why it wasn't a worldwide single. It's kind of weird. My favorite song on the rock opera that is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. This is their third album.
Yes,
This
it
is
is.
their monster worldwide phenomena ode to the 80s rock opera.
Ode to the 80s.
Well, I mean, they took a lot of inspiration from like 80s bands.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. And
And-
you and I have talked about this album like crazy.
Yeah.
As long as we've known each other, because again, that was one of those music dumps you gave me
Yeah.
in 11 and 12. And yeah, I have two songs I don't like. You have two songs you don't like.
They're two different songs.
They
One
are.
of one of them you don't like is this.
No.
Oh,
No.
you
I don't
come
like
around those?
Teenagers and I don't like Cancer.
Oh, okay. I don't like Teenagers and Mama.
Right. So teenagers can die a terrible death.
Right.
We can
And
agree
so,
on that.
You know, last year we just got done getting offended by the
Yes.
by the Rock Sound tribute album.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
this, it was all right. You got one great song out of it. You got a cool New Year's Day
I
cover. out,
love
Sleep.
listening to Ash Costello sing. That's all I
Yeah,
can
it's
do.
great. This song, I love this. It's the anti-love song. I Don't Love You. It's so powerful and so emotional, and you can even like hear the tragedy in Gerard Way's voice, hearing this one here. And of course, it's a
Serenading.
concept album that celebrates death. The lead character, you know,
Hence the emo pull.
the emo pull. I mean, this
Death, yes, please.
This
More
is
of that.
emo bait. This is total emo bait in 2006.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. This
So-
is another album that like kind of made 2006 the best year in music for me.
My number 114 album was
114.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade.
And after all the blood.
Still, yeah, I know what you mean by the songs around it are really, really good.
Yeah.
But when you throw in, especially one stinker and one song that you and I can debate about forever,
Yeah.
it just pulls
That's
it down.
how he died, Adam. Cancer is how he died. We need that story thread. It's a concept record.
I get you. I get you. It's just in your face too much.
It's the point. That's how he died.
My lips are chapped and faded, chapped and faded.
I will not kiss you.
Whew, I love that some of your best songs are still in my top, 200
Yeah.
overall.
Why not, man?
Or best albums.
Because we love all these records, man. Fucking semantics are gonna tear us apart.
I know. We will always agree on teenagers.
Yes.
It's a dumbass song.
Fuck that
We
song.
could delete that one from our playlist and be fine.
Right.
My number 13 album.
I still haven't seen My Chemical Romance live before.
Neither have any of us in the past many years.
Right.
That's okay.
Oh.
Because when they do come back this year at the APMAs,
Right.
then they're just going to be touring freaking
1 point for Adam.
stadiums
Yeah.
and shit. And who wants to go see a band in a stadium and pay like $80 for it?
Adam and Mike next week.
Psh. Well, it's not a stadium; it's just an outdoor venue.
Now it's outdoors.
where it wouldn't. I mean, it would have been a standing room only indoor venue,
Oh.
just very large.
That's fine.
So it's Palladium size.
We're gonna have a
pretty
good
much.
time.
We're gonna have a great time. But you know what else, Mike? You and I, we've had a great time
Are we not gonna have a
listening to the songs that are on this particular album. The album,
You said "oh crap" when you saw your thing.
I know,
I'm like,
because
what is
I went
this?
back and listened to this album this week
Uh-huh.
and had a genuine emotional reaction because it had been a couple of months.
Okay.
A couple of months since I had last heard the beautiful joy that is.
Oh my god! Painkillers. by
Painkillers.
Brain Fallon.
Especially Nobody Wins.
Such a good song.
The acceptance of the end.
Oh yeah.
Right there, smack in the middle of the album.
Doesn't matter at the end of the day who broke up with who. Nobody wins in the end.
Man. I fucking love this album. And I already talked at length about it. But I had not listened to it since December
Yeah.
when we did our end of the year reviews.
Right.
So 3 months later, whatever, I'll listen to it one more time, and then just oh my god, is this so fucking sad? And yeah, it was perfect placement as my number 13. Because
I love this record.
my top 12, I can definitely tell you why I like them better than this album.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of it is a little bit more nostalgia than the fact that we've only been listening to this album for a year.
Right.
One of the two greatest moments of live music in my history was seeing him play these songs.
Twice.
I could care less about having to stand for those.
Oh yeah.
Just as long
Well, because
as
those aren't like jumping kind of.
Exactly.
Until they played "Behold the Hurricane" and everyone was jumping. That was
only at the second show.
That was inappropriate.
The first time it was great.
Yeah.
So genuine emotional experience, but something that I will always just keep to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have an emotional experience around others.
Okay.
But when I'm listening to this in my car at fucking 6:30 in the morning on my way to work,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking cry my fucking
It's
eyes
okay
out.
to cry in front
God.
of people, Adam.
No, it's
You
not.
can cry with me, buddy.
I'm going to cry. I got to go watch other people cry all day
Okay.
fucking long.
Who watches you cry though?
Brian Fallon.
Oh, that
He's
makes
the
sense.
only one that gets to see it.
That makes sense.
I feel, and again, I feel like he's there with me and singing directly to me. Anyway, blah, 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 gay shit.
I was
love
going
this.
to put money down. It's gonna make your top 10. Very close though.
Very close. Number 13.
Wonderful choice, my friend.
Oh, just that line. I hope I never see you again.
Oh.
Come on.
And he says it so like joyously almost, It's
After 15 lines that tear you down, he throws in one more fucking killer in the chest.
Mhm.
Anyway, thank you.
Number 12.
Number 12 for Mike.
Adam's heard this story dozens of times.
That means I love it.
That means you love it.
I love
think
this
you love-
story.
Somehow I feel like you love this story more than you might like this record.
Oh.
But I purchased this EP on smartpunk.com after I saw
The now defunct
the
Smart
now
Punk.
defunct smartpunk.com after I saw a little user review in the back of Alternative Press magazine. People there's a section like, what are you listening to? Send us in, and people like, oh, I'm listening to this and this. It's the most amazing thing I've ever heard of.
Now, were there multiple user reviews, or was there just one user review that
No, they
sparked your
did
interest?
at least like 10
Okay.
on a full page thing, like paragraph or two, like little user reviews, like why I love this record, blah blah blah. But so I get it in the mail after like a couple weeks of waiting, and I was like, oh, I got to get to work. I need to go.
Yes.
So let me grab this little EP. It's only 5 songs long. It shouldn't take too long.
Right.
So I pop it into the thing.
Yes.
Drive off to work. It's a 15-minute trip. By the time I got there, I was transformed. Music had never been the same ever since I listened to Translating the Name by Seosin.
Translating the name EP.
EP by
Throw that in.
Seosin. This is the
Music.
final track. They perched on their stilts, pointing and laughing at me, daring me to break custom.
So when you look back at it, this does sound like 2003.
But
There's nothing about this album that sounds anything like the new album
no,
that came out last year.
absolutely not. It's there's little elements of it. There's like little elements in the drumming that like
Perhaps.
carry over a bit, but
But I'm okay with the band changing their complete sound over a 13-year period.
right, exactly. It's been
But
13
still,
years.
these 5 songs, which again, this was again part of that music dump of 11 and 12. And I absorbed this album and the other Seosin albums, but this was my favorite. I got it.
Yeah,
I didn't have like a blackout moment, but I got how good this was. I was like,
This-
ooh.
it's and I'm not. I am not like speaking hyperbole. This album blew me away. I sat in my car almost late for work because I was trying to process what I just listened to.
Love it.
It was amazing. This is my first introduction to the lead singer Anthony Green.
Yes, and I
go
think
on-
that was the main thing, was that he didn't sound like all those other bands that sounded like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nobody else had that falsetto. Everybody else was like, blah, 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 blah. I like girls and pussy and fuck me. And
And
that wasn't
that
going on.
blood curdling falsetto too,
man.
because like nobody screams like that. Nobody sings like this with this kind of music. This is the most unique thing. It's the best EP I've ever heard in my entire life. I'll tell you that. But
is
my God,
Probably true.
Seosin's Translating the Night. If you've got 15 minutes, do yourself a favor. Pop on that. record.
If I was to do my best EPs of all time, I guess this would be up there with like the Clean Head EP by Oceana.
Oh, so good. Talk about transformative. That's
Man,
good
I mean, it's
album.
only 4 tracks.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So fucking good.
good fucking shit.
Give me your number 12, son.
My number 12 will be. You'll understand. You'll get it. You'll know.
I get all
Granted-
of these.
I don't know if you've already talked about this album. So if you haven't talked about this album yet, then I know it is in your top 11, which is exciting for me to hear. But I can't remember because it's just been too many weeks. But we've already... I mean, this band is littered throughout our best 100s, obviously. That's what I do like about getting down to the nitty-gritty. But we're getting to the best of the nitty-gritty.
No, now we're finally like crossing over a bit.
So I'm not going to play... Again, going back to... This album came out in 2004. I was all tied up. I didn't hear about this band until 2005. I was all tied up in my grunge/American Idiot days. And I heard this band, saw their video, and I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me with this. This is the next wave of music?
Oh, boy.
this is not going to happen.
I know what it is
I say nay. Nay, say I. But then I would listen to that one song that I hated and be
Yeah.
like, there's elements of this that could be good. But I should probably never listen to this band because I'm going to hate them. And I would just
You don't
be
want to risk liking
a gay, emo, faggy girl.
them. Right. Little did we know.
With red eyeliner.
Little did we know. Years later, we both grow into gay little emo faggy girls.
Yes. And I would find this song off of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance, the emo masterpiece that is. As soon as this song comes around, amidst all the other epic masterpieces, it just blew me away.
Right.
Blew me right away in the groin.
And I had that same.
Got you in my sights. Oh, man.
I had that same kind of reaction to "I'm Not Okay." It's like, what a stupid song!
This
What a
is
dumb
terrible.
gay video.
Never again.
Get these homos out of here.
But you
And
would,
then-
but you could still listen to it and say, this has potential.
I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good song.
I might like it, the other songs. I'm
I
not
should
sure.
probably listen to the album before I judge it. But then I started reading reviews of all this stuff, and I was like, oh, give it a chance. It's
Grace of God. Oh, man.
And as soon as you hit track 2, because track 1 is the second single, Helena, as soon as you hit track 2, Give 'em Hell Kid, you're like, oh, I'm in for a ride.
Oh, baby, don't stop.
Gerard
Oh.
Way describes this record as raw, dirty pop music.
Yeah, mixed in with like all of these other elements of, of course, arena rock,
Yeah.
classic rock, just
Punk.
and punk and goth, whatever you want to call that.
Goth rock.
But you could tell by his stage presence on that "I'm Not Okay" video, like there's something about this kid that people are going to be drawn to.
He's got the charisma.
And I was like, I really want this band to die, but I was not surprised that they took off after that. So it was just like by 2011, 2012, I knew I needed to give them a shot, and I'm so happy I finally did.
Masterpiece record.
Even my wife listened to this album in our car, and this song came on, and I was like, God, I love this fucking song. And my wife said, yes, I know. I agree. We agree that this fucking song is great.
She likes a My Chemical Romance song?
She likes this album.
She likes this album?
Mm-hmm. She
Whoa.
really, really does. Crazy, huh?
You should have shot that to your number 3 or 2 or something.
So it's difficult, again, semantics on what's good, what's bad, but I always felt, this one I could put above Painkillers. I can put above Dizzy Up the Girl.
This album has a lot more impact than Painkillers, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
At least culturally.
Culturally, Painkillers, it's only been out for a year.
Exactly.
It hasn't had the chance yet, Mike.
We have to give it a chance. Number 11. This is the last song I'm going to play for you all tonight. And, well, I'm just going to play it.
No intro story?
Adam might not agree, but I'm just going to play it. I'd have to say it's my intro to this band. This band means a lot to me. And
is this a band I'm not familiar with? Because I don't
first
recognize it.
full-length album. So the light now is my weapon. You got it?
Yes. Oh, fuck. I know who that is.
Should I flex
Census Fail.
left arm?
Yeah.
Census Fail with their first full-length album, Let It Unfold.
Let It Unfold You. That's
This
why it sounded familiar.
Yeah, this is their band's first full-length record. Not my favorite.
Not
I
your
wouldn't even
favorite, but still your
I wouldn't
number
even
11.
say it's their best, but it's
But it's still
one of the most important records in my life.
okay.
Because this had a narrative that I related to, especially at the time when this came out around 2004.
Yes.
A lot of metaphorical songs about issues that I still struggle with to this day. Like seeing a therapist and stuff.
Still?
Huh?
Still?
I'm looking into getting another one.
Okay. Good.
There's a lot of really there's a raw energy to this album too that you find even in like Seosin, but just kind of like different musically. And there's a charisma to it. There's a sadness to it. There's an odd joyousness to it.
It's always the album of theirs that I kind of bury underneath the rest.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, maybe everything else is more in your face.
It is.
And
they go on to do more unique things, especially later in their career as well. But, like, this is an album I feel like it's kind of, other than the singles that they have to play at their shows, like, this is an album for...
just like the lady in the blue dress.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It's a great song. And there's several
song.
great songs on there. I know it didn't make my top 200, but
Yeah.
it's still a good album.
Yeah. And it's just a very important album to me because there's also another album that, like, it's one of the first times I had an emotional connection to a band and their music. And I had to put this up there. I had to put it up there. I couldn't quite put it in top 10 for the 10 albums I'm going to be talking about next week.
I understand.
But I had to put this at least in my top 20 because it is very important to me. And not only that, but like it's an album that like I can still listen to this day, have relatable feelings to, and just kind of look back and be like, I've come a long way since 2004.
There you go.
I'm not just a bad actor
Yes.
stuck with a shitty script.
I got one more album to do, and then no sound offs.
No sound off.
So
I'm gonna eat some dinner.
I will set the stage for my number 11 album. Just so close from me. If you had asked me in, again, 2002-ish, this would have been close to my number 1 album. Actually, it definitely would have been my number 1 album at that time. Above Facelift, above Dirt, above Super Unknown, and those kind of albums. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how the next week rolls out.
All right.
But still, this album introduced me. Well, everybody had already known this band for some time before I got into them, and then I went backwards and got this older album with songs that I didn't know at the time were actually from this band. But then I listened to it and I was like, oh, hey, that's by this band? Cool. That's a really good song. I bet the rest of the album's okay. And holy shit, did this album just blow me away for the time. Blah, blah, blah. Almost there. God, I have too many bands in this letter. That's the problem.
Good problem.
So I'm going to sit here for the next 6 minutes and 56 seconds and discuss what this album means to myself, to where I was at the time, where I wanted myself to go musically. What I realized was everything about a band that should be a band.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think you're familiar with this one.
No.
But my favorite lead singer of that time, of course, one Mr. Cristobal Cornell. Cristobal. Back when he, right after the Temple of the Dog, right around the Temple of the Dog time.
Yeah.
But this was the album that shot this band in. This was their first major label, of course, so it shot them into superstardom. And then, of course, Super Unknown became the juggernaut that it was.
Yeah.
But this one, you almost felt like they weren't popular yet. They just barely come out of the Seattle scene. But they were on Columbia Records or fucking Universal or bullshit
Whatever
like
it was,
that.
yeah.
And compared to their previous albums, because they have 3 albums before this one
Yeah.
that don't sound anything like this, and they like just made a huge change, but they still kept this slow, grinding sound that was the 80s Seattle scene before it turned into the 90s Seattle scene.
In with the modern 90s.
And listen to the scream. This is what brought me to music. So, yeah, Cameron and I had not heard anything like that. Because we had listened to Super Unknown first. He doesn't scream like that ever again.
And this is Bad Motorfinger.
Oh, sorry.
By,
yes.
by Soundgarden.
1991's Bad Motorfinger. And as soon as you get to this is track 3, after you come out of like Rusty Cage, that was a single, Outshined is a single that still gets played on the radio now. And then you come into this and you're just like, well, how much better can it get? And this whole song, 7 minutes of it, is screaming like fucking crazy.
And it's odd. You don't necessarily always know Chris Cornell for his screaming.
That's a weird statement for me to hear. Because that's how he was known before he turned into acoustic dad rock.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, I see what you mean. Cameron and I went to a Chris Cornell solo show in 2007. He played this song, which was absolutely incredible because we had no idea that he was going to play anything off of this album. No, like with the full band.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, and he even 16 years after this album came out, he could still sing like this.
That's awesome.
Which was like, whoa. And he just kept on going. He like closed with this song.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was just like after he tore his voice to shreds for an hour and a half, he closes with this song, which is like the most demanding vocal song of all of Soundgarden's career.
That's
I feel.
Awesome.
But all the other songs on this album became what I wanted my bands to be, you know, mixed in with my Goo Goo Dolls and acoustic rock elements. But, you know, those were I straddled that line.
I'd say that you got there with Abolition.
Abolition straddled that line in a weird way, right? So I'm going to need a new copy of this album because it has a lot of skips on it from my old CD.
You burned it from the CD?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And they just released the 25th anniversary of it last year, remastered and stuff.
There we go.
Like when I listened to it just to make sure this was still my number 11, I had to listen to the YouTube video because I can't listen to this version because it's just like. But it was my number 1-ish album in 2002. It's my number 11 album now.
Oh, amazing! I love how we both for our number 11s had like that nostalgia.
Yes.
Right there. Some albums that like kind of got us into music. That's awesome, man. So
good times.
That'll do it for this week, guys. Tune in next week. Tears will be shed. Our top 10 is coming up, but please let us know what you thought from our 20 to 11. For my co-host Adam, I am your co-host Mike, and I want some tacos.
Let's get some tacos.